Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Wes. So, this last chapter of Kaiju number 8 was pretty unique. Unique in the sense that it's a retread of Kafka's backstory, one that we've already known about for quite some time now, with maybe one or two additional scenes thrown in the mix. Normally, that's bad. That wouldn't be a good thing, especially after a month-ish long break in the schedule, after such a pivotal moment in the story even. Previously, Kafka chose to completely commit himself to becoming a kaiju in order to return to the fray and quickly save Narumi in the nick of time, only for this to happen.
Nobody got you the way I do. Whatever demons you're fighting through.
Every 2 weeks, Matsumoto adds new meaning to the terms blue-balled and edgelord. I swear he does. And I'm really starting to feel like he gets his kicks out of it. And I know I'm not the only one who feels that way. Thankfully, a new chapter is coming tomorrow. All of that aside, chapter 120 was expected to be more of a battle-oriented chapter to help bring the arc to its conclusion. Instead, we found ourselves with another backstory retread before the big reveal at the end of the chapter. Like I said earlier, normally that's a negative for me, but here's why I think this time it's unique that this happened. It has to do with the contents and imagery of Kafka's childhood. I'd imagine if you live in certain countries, it will carry less meaning, but I live in the USA, and after witnessing the destruction in areas like LA, with these supposed wildfire breakouts causing people to lose house, home, memories, and unfortunately even loved ones, it makes Kafka's backstory hit that much harder for me. So maybe the word I'm looking for is not unique. The chapter is timely. I feel like timely is the right word. That being said, if any of you guys live in LA, my heart goes out to you and your families. I can't imagine what a lot of the people over there must be going through, losing basically everything out of nowhere. But I pray that you all make it out safely with your loved ones' lives. That is what is most important. Chapter 120 gave us a deeper glimpse of the devastation Kafka witnessed as a child, events that left such a profound mark on his psyche they would forever shadow him to adulthood, and essentially shape the very man he would become in the future. It's not like Kafka lost anyone in particular that was important to him in the kaiju attacks. What he lost was his home that his father busted his chops to pay off the loans on, the little store where his grandmother brought him a special pencil case, the little wing stop where his mom used to work, the park where he stood up and defended himself from bullies, his freaking PS2, Mina's Calico Cat. A lot of the things he lost may seem meager in the grand scheme, but everything carried an important memory and was cherished. You can feel Kafka's frustration emitting off the pages, and I get it. Given everything that's going on now, both inside the country and outside of it, this makes his and Mina's frustration and anger towards all kaiju much more relatable. I didn't review chapters 118 and 119 because not that much happened. Kafka got to converse with the Phantom Samurai who could potentially be his ancestor, and he gives us some decent exposition. Basically, Kafka had two choices offered to him, air quote choices, either accept his human heart and return to being a human, or transform his human heart into the newest core to fuel Kaiju number 8, seeing as how its previous core was destroyed by Kaiju 0. Now, let's be real. Just what exactly did the samurai expect Kafka to do? If Kafka had accepted that human heart, he would have returned to the land of the living, woke up to find Narumi sliced in half, Hoshina bodied, Mina trying her hardest to guard his body only to end up getting hit with Kaiju Zero's malevolent kitchen, and then ultimately catch a two-piece wombo combo once he wakes up and the Meireki Kaiju catches him lacking. Sure, Kafka had a choice, alright. The choice was you either die as a human or live long enough to see yourself become the kaiju. Now pick one. Anyway, we all knew that Kafka would choose protecting his friends over remaining a human only to get clapped a few seconds after reviving, even if he had to turn his back on his word to slay all of the kaiju, since now he himself is a permanent kaiju. Also, I wonder, does he age now? That's gonna be a interesting question. I hope Matsumoto answers that, because technically he's not human anymore. He's fully kaiju. So does he go through the human aging process still? Are kaijus immortal? Yeah, I have questions. If the manga continues for a longer period of time past this arc, then I don't see Kafka not being able to tap into his human form. But I do think he will forever be physically a kaiju. He is effectively more than just human now, like I said earlier. Oh, and I actually almost forgot to mention that I peeped the shield present around Kaiju 8's new core after Kaiju 0 tried him again. I don't have any theories on how he obtained that skill, so for now, I guess we're just out here copying abilities and whatnot. I'm hoping his new power set, whatever it may be, is cleared up for us in this next chapter coming tomorrow. And with that, we get to the end of the chapter and the hype moment of the chapter. Everyone has been waiting for this since the manga began. Kaiju number 8 is still a shonen manga at its core. We all knew at some point Kafka was gonna get his super form, Bankai, Haki, domain expansion, if you will, whatever you want to call it. A few things I noticed is that the only reason this form is even possible now is because his human heart is the core. This doesn't appear to be Kafka unlocking the deepest recesses of Kaiju number 8's own power, but rather the big change seems to be switching from Kaiju number 8's heart that was created through a mass of anguish to Kafka's own heart, which is a bit more pure and it's now in the driver's seat. While Kaiju number 8 is fighting to destroy all Kaiju, Kafka is fighting to protect humanity from all Kaiju. Their goals may be similar, but their foundations are different. Hence the reason why Kaiju number 8's transformation is more of an evolution. Kaiju number 8 is going from fighting for revenge alone to fighting to protect the innocent. So number 8 finally sheds its top layer of armor and skin, revealing an evolved form complete with an extra set of eyes, some extended dorsal fins, and a slightly different shell mask, and what could end up being white and black skin, which would be a bit of a color palette flip from his original black and white. Remember, I've stated in the past that this manga's kaijus and humans have a weird symbiotic relationship. Whenever a kaiju becomes infused with human DNA, the kaiju becomes stronger and can evolve to greater capabilities than on their own. This has been the golden rule of this manga, with examples ranging from Kaiju 9 wanting to absorb Mina Ashiro for her unique compatibility with firearms, or Narumi evolving Kaiju number 1's foresight beyond what even the original Kaiju number 1 was capable of on its own back during its heyday. I've been meaning to say this for a minute now. I haven't heard any news of the author saying that the manga is about to wrap up yet, so the only way I see this manga continuing is if the next arc is centered around the hints that we have gotten all those chapters ago. Some of you remember what I'm talking about. It was revealed in chapter 33 that other nations have begun experimenting with kaiju tissue being transplanted into human beings. This was again hinted towards by Kaiju 9 himself in chapter 107, where he poses the question, what would happen if you combined kaiju DNA with a human and exposed them to fault energy? So it isn't a one and done reference, it's something that Matsumoto has brought up in the story multiple times now. That's the only direction I can see the story potentially heading in, should it continue, at least from my perspective. That's honestly all I can say about this chapter. It was saved for me in particular because it's timely with events happening in my country right now, and the power-up at the end was cool. If circumstances were different on any other day, I'd keep it 100. I would have called this chapter mid. I don't think it's possible to mess up the next chapter. We'll be able to examine Kaiju number 8 in its new form and hopefully see what kind of damage our boy Kafka can do now. With that, you have reached the end of the video. As always, let me know what you guys think of the chapter in the comments. Also, if you enjoyed this type of content, then thumbs up the video and consider subscribing for more. All right, that'll be all, folks. Stay safe, God bless, peace,